I don't have a black one, but I have a brown one. Come on, these jokes write themselves. That jersey swap was amazing. Shout out to Grady Dick on that one. That was genius. Oh
And
my
shout out to Anthony Black on that one.
God. We're waiting for so much. We're waiting for the love, some brown.
Hey,
It writes itself. But anyway, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on To the Point with the King. You guys know what to do. Find us Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, X. And thank you guys for finding us here on YouTube, okay, and giving us some views. And like I said multiple times, I'm trying to get rid of this. When we get to 750 subs, that's for one of you people out there. Whether you're in the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, Greece, Lithuania, the UK, even south of the border, I see you guys watching our stuff, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting our fantastic guests, especially my man, all the way from the East Coast, who brought it here to the home, the coach, Tim Roache. How are you doing today, my brother?
I'll never get a better introduction than that. Doing pretty good. I got a haircut a few days ago, so it's a
Yeah, you know,
little lighter now. So and I haven't had this haircut in about 15 years. I can tell as you get older. Yeah, hairline's going back a little bit.
wait
Sorry.
till it becomes natural.
Yeah, right. Who knows?
Yeah, wait till it goes all away, which is what I want to allude to of things going away. Um, Currently, right now, the Raptors are on a how many game?
If I was correct, 7-game losing streak.
There we go. And it's been, well, they did win one prior, but they lost the one before that to Golden State. Um, but the absence of the one and only your boy Scottie Barnes, our boy here in Toronto, right? I, since he's been gone, we've seen a decline in the Raptors on the court because he has provided so much for that team. He's been asked of for so much. Now, coach, my question to you based on that is with his absence, and I hope he gets better, right? With him gone, how do you see the effect that it's had on the team on the court?
Oh, absolutely. Scotty is the engine that makes the team go.
Yep.
It's not so like some guys, like RJ might be their best one-on-one player. Quickly might be their best three-point shooter, Gary. Hurdle is probably their best rebounder. Actually, it's probably Scotty, actually, in that case. But Scotty's the guy that holds it all together, I find. He's the glue, he's the engine. And ever since he got hurt, this team has just really struggled playing defensively, having a lot more laps in their offense as well. Scotty's ability to generate gravity and just find guys on the court. He was building a pretty good connection with Grady before he got hurt, and quickly, it's just too bad. And I knew as soon as it happened, season's over. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Look at Philadelphia right now. They've lost Embiid. They're now like an 8th in the East right now, and that might continue to fall. They might fall out of the. I don't think they'll fall out of the play-in, but they might not get back into the top 6, which means they got to go into a play-in tournament, something that Philadelphia was not expecting to do. So anytime you lose your best player, naturally, the losses are going to pile up, especially on a rebuilding team.
See, I see what I agree with you 100%. And let me put my literally my 2 cents in. Okay, Scotty really has been the glue, like you said, that's been holding this team together. Now, you and I, as former coaches, like we speak about all the time. Do you think, like the way the team has been designed to build around Scotty, because clearly the future of the franchise, right? And missing that major piece, that cornerstone, has really affected other players to step up in different ways that they have not had to, like, such as the Gary Trent and, like the Quickly and RJ, but we'll get into those. We'll get into the individual players, the Bouchers, Grady, like as a coach, as a coach, how would you strategically play this out with the absence of Scottie Barnes?
I think you just give your young players a good amount of run moving forward. Um, Look, this team has no culture right now. They're a young team. They're losing. That's one thing I do miss about Boucher not being in this lineup. I've been hard on him at times throughout the season, just with his defense, the lack of communication that does happen, him being out of place. But one thing I'll never complain about Chris Boucher, guy gets effort every single night, and that is something that you want to instill in young players. And for a team that is young and losing, you need to see guys who are just going to lay it on the line every single game. And that's one of his talents. Pat Riley said if hustling was a talent, everybody would do it. Chris Boucher's got a talent for hustling, and particularly on the offensive rebounds. So I would just be trying to play these guys, a lot of the young guys, get their reps. This is an important stretch for Grady Dick as well moving into next season. I'm glad that he's getting that anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes a game now, because he might be starting next year on this team. And especially unless they make a significant add, which I don't see that. And I think Grady has shown enough where he could be your starting shooting guard for this team moving forward. Someone 6'7", 6'8", pretty good athlete. I think you get it. I think that's definitely under consideration for sure. You get to play Ochai a lot of minutes moving forward. You're going to need him next year, especially on the defensive end.
Yep.
You got to find what you got with Jonte Porter, and I think they've been doing that a bit as well, especially with Pirtle. It's been Olynyk and Porter. So just play the young guys. See what going into next year, who's got a leg up in training camp. I would play Javon Liberty Freeman a lot more than what they do as well.
Now, with the beginning of Scottie's absence, right? Great points, by the way. With the absence of Scottie at the beginning there, we saw RJ Barret kind of pick up the slack. And by the way, we will not speak about his personal business, our thoughts and our prayers with him, right? And if you guys want to go talk about that online, that's on you. We're not reporting that here until the point. Okay. That's personal. But he did pick up the slack for a minute before that unfortunate, tragic incident, right? Now, what do you see coming out of him in those couple games with the absence of Scottie that we've established is the glue of the team?
His professionalism, man. He's just someone I've said this many times. He's one of the few I don't worry about. I have an idea what I'm going to get from him each night. I know he's going to get his points. Ever since he's been in Toronto, I don't have the stat for me right now, but he's been way more efficient in a
In
Raptors
every category.
in every category. The pace of play is much quicker in Toronto than it is in New York. And he's with two ball dominant players in Brunson and Randall at the time. He's not with that anymore now. Scottie's a pretty unselfish player. If you're open, he'll find you. Quickly's assist number since he's gone from New York to Toronto. I think in New York he was averaging almost 3 assists a game. I
I
think in
believe it was
Toronto
3.8 or 3.9.
something like that. But he's more of a combo guard. But now in Toronto, I think it's gone up to about 6.5 since he's been a Raptor. So his assist numbers have gone up as well. I just think this is just a much better environment for Barret to flourish. And at the time of the trade, I was like, everybody's talking about Quickly and justifiably so. RJ's the guy who's highly motivated to be here. You're a number 3 pick and nobody views you in the class of John Moran or Zion Williamson. I'm not putting him there, but of the 3 so far, his career's been more consistent than those guys have been. Those guys are more dynamic, yes, but RJ's one that's more dependable. So I'm really pleased with RJ Barrett. The shooting's really come along as well. He's strong. Defense, I know this is more of a team thing, but he's got to work on his defense just like everybody else.
And free throw shooting.
And free throw shooting, yes. So that's a team thing as well, especially with RJ. He reminds me a bit of DeRozan when DeRozan was like year 4 or 5. Remember, he was getting to the line a ton. Like not quite as much as Harden was at the time, but he'd be like second or third. RJ Barrett's got that. He might be able to do that in his career where he gets to the line, that 8-9 times a game, just as much as he attacks the hoop and how strong he is, and just going left, which can screw up a lot of defenders. Everyone thinks that you're going right. Somehow everyone plans for him to go left, and he still manages to finish. So I just think, working on those free throws, like you said, if you're not going to be a great 3-point shooter, make that third point on the and one.
Yep.
Make that 80%.
Yep. I agree with you 100% with RJ Barrett, especially when it comes to free throw shooting. Like, Coach, you and I know when guys have a bad free throw game, next day practice, you're shooting 500 free throws straight up, and you better hit it. You're not going to eat. You're not going to drink water. Well, that's how I run it. You're not going to do anything until you make 70% of your free throws. And but with RJ, I like his explosiveness. Like you said it, like with DeRozan, I honestly I love it. He could create his own shot, right? He could put it upon himself, right? And especially with the spacing on the floor with the bigs like the Yak, who's out now. Scottie looking out for you, who's out now, right? It really does open up and create a shot. Maybe I think that's why he's been flourishing here in the city of Toronto. And welcome home, RJ. Welcome home. And speaking of home, there's another home Canadian player, the Slim Duck, Boucher. If I see anybody say that online, just remember I made that up. Okay? Boucher. He's now torn an MCL. With the absence of Scottie and RJ, Boucher, a little bit more weight was put on him on the court, especially after everybody complaining that he wasn't getting time, he wasn't getting minutes. Why is he not doing this? Fire Darko, all that stuff online that people have been saying, right? But he's shown it. He's shown his value. He's definitely not a number one guy, right? But he is a valuable piece on the Raptors or on any team that he would go to. Now, with his absence as well, how does that affect the Toronto Raptors currently, my friend?
Oh, front court, it's been bad. There's very little offensive rebounding that's able to take place. Boucher's able to stretch the floor a little bit too, but I just think it's that hustle and energy. He's got so much hustle and energy. Like the meme of him coming off the floor when Nick Nurse was coaching him, and he's like this when he's sitting on the bench. Like this guy, there are some things that he makes mistakes on, but let's be fair, everybody does. Never ever going to question his effort. There are some guys you certainly can question their effort at times. It never comes up, I think, with a guy like Chris Boucher. So just his energy out of the lineup, I just feared that his energy kind of can affect, like if he's really energized, I think other guys are able to pick their energy up too. When they see a guy like fighting against 2 or 3 guys for a rebound, it's like, oh, he's doing that. Well, you know what? I can do that too. When you're not seeing that, I just find that kind of hurts. Like that, I don't want to say so much team culture per se, even though I don't like to have any right now, and he kind of can help in that regards. But just how your on-court play is, like in that effort and grit and grind. Wayne Casey always spoke about it, like pound the rock, that kind of thing. And we're going to outwork other teams.
You know what? It's
this
like
Raptors.
Go on.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off.
It's not to say this Raptors team doesn't work. I'm not questioning their guys' effort or anything. It's not for me to do that. But I think when you have the right personnel who really can really express how they work, like really just kind of grinding it on the defensive end and on the boards. You know, Toronto's a city that likes that. We like the blue collar, you know, the Chris Boucher, the Jerome Williams, the Wendell Clarks, from what I've heard. Like they just like guys who are gonna work and work. And I think Boucher, he's earned that, man.
You know, I love, like you just said it right there. Like you and I, as former coaches, if we see a guy putting up effort, he doesn't have to score the 20 points or whatever, or put up all these stats and we got to check it off on the clipboard. When you see a guy putting in that much effort and that much work to help the team win in whatever way he can, I think that's invaluable, right? I don't think you could put a price tag on it, but with him now being out and him showing and him being the last piece of the 2019 championship run, right? I think it's kind of changed the question that I'm going to ask you right now. Now that we are aware, let me set the foundation for this question. Now that we are aware, Scottie is the man, right? RJ is arguably the number 2 on the team. You got Quickly, you get some dick, right?
Brady.
Yeah, right. You have younger players coming up within the system. You got a rookie coach, okay, as well. And guys, stop shitting on Darko, man. That guy knows what he's doing. You ever been to a game and watch and see what he's doing? He knows what he's doing, and his coaching staff is very smart as well. Okay, there's no question about that. It's using the pieces you got, and Boucher being the last piece, like I said, of the 2019 championship, right? How do you feel about the Raptors culture currently going forward, as opposed to when they brought the Larry O.B. right up here? Because I want to, do you think they should tank right now? Is it self-tanking? Is it just involuntarily tanking due to injuries and due to the change of the culture? Do you think this is on purpose? There's a lot of questions I asked you in there, but go ahead, pick one. Or pick all.
I don't think they're purposely tanking. I just think they're really that bad right now. We basically have a G League team who's on the court with like Quickly and Olynyk and Gary Trent. I just think it's really tough for them to win. Like people, I sometimes will tease Beyond about this, but Detroit.
Shout out to Beyond.
Shout out to Beyond. Detroit individually actually has a fair amount of talent. Cade and Duran and the Thompson kid. They're all healthy right now. Raptors are down like 3 starters, 4 Pirtle, Scottie, RJ's been out, personal reasons. Boucher has been out. You're missing like your entire front court from what you had right now. And I'm sorry, Olynyk is not a center. He never has been. He's a 4 playing the 5. I know in this NBA that he probably can play a little bit of that.
But we 3 can play a 5.
Yeah, we all know 10 years ago he's probably a 4 in the NBA. But I just think that they're just not that good. There's been a massive transition away from the championship culture, with Fred leaving, with Siakam leaving, OG leaving. It's just
Lowry leaving.
Lowry leaving. This is the new iteration of the Raptors. It's going to be Scottie, RJ, and Quickly, and Grady. I think those guys are kind of the core. I think Grady has pushed himself into the core of that group. At the first of the season, I didn't think so. I thought that maybe he was a great complementary piece one day, but he's making the case now where like we probably get 4 guys we can roll with. And here's the thing: all 4 of those guys start and play somewhat different positions, so it can work. Now it's about finding the right pieces for those four. What are you going to need? You need defense. You're going to need some size. Size is killing them right now. That's why they're not winning a bunch of these games. It's just
that was my next
size.
question for you.
Yeah.
Do they need some
About size?
size? Should they look
Oh,
should they look for size, or someone with size and experience that can help the team in some sort of fashion to get them to that next level?
they need talent. They are very devoid of talent right now. Outside of like Scottie, we all know he's got an immense amount of talent. Quickly's got talent. RJ's got talent, but we need another big time talent. Now, could that be a kid in the draft who you might see really flourish in 3 to 5 years? Yeah, it very well could be. Is it in this draft? That I don't know. There's nobody generational in this draft, but I think there are some potential starters in this draft that could be for a team, especially, when you're looking at the top 10. So front court help for me this off season, if I'm the GM, that's my number one priority. Front court help. Finding myself a backup point guard too. I know they like playing Scottie point guard minutes. I'm not so against it either, but you're eventually going to need someone just to come in and run an offense.
Yeah,
Quickly
that
is
is
hurt.
true.
Scottie gets hurt, for example. You're going to need like a vet. I'm looking at a vet point guard I can just bring in to back up Quickly. I'm not so much looking for a kid. I'm not looking for a 19 or 20-year-old. Quickly's 24. Go get yourself like a 30-year-old or 32-year-old guy. Maybe you sign for a year or two to say, hey, come in and run our second unit. We got a couple of new kids from our draft. We got some younger guys as well, like Ochai, possibly
And
Brady.
run the locker room as well. I think that's what's needed. You and I both know how that rolls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So your question more is like, is this team tanking? Not purposely, but it probably will be purposely come the last 10 games of the year.
I believe
You might as well try to finish this the worst that you can. I'm not a fan of keeping their top 6 pick this year, but if they do, I'm not losing any sleep over it, because a top 6 pick in any draft is a top 6 pick. Exactly. Talent is talent, and this team doesn't find talent in the free agent market. It never has. I don't know if it never will, but they always have found talent in the draft. Pascal Siakam, Vince Carter, OG Anunoby. They found Fred undrafted. Scottie was found in the draft. They've had a fair amount of success in the draft. They don't find much in free agency.
Yanni,
so they all knew Brandon Roy was the best player in that draft, but they knew he had bad knees, which down the line we did see that the knees were kind of bad. Aldridge probably the best career of all of them.
Yeah, but you know what though? You just touch on something there. With the front court, what would you rather for a front? You mentioned about the point guard position, but for a front court player, would you rather have a dominant talent or a sustainable talent that provides leadership within the locker room and on the court? What would you do as a coach?
Am I looking at this in the draft, or am I just looking at it in general?
In general, what they need. Like, obviously, there's something lacking there.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think if you can find a dominant talent, you get it. I think that's what you go and do. I think this team is probably going to be worried about the CBA, the new one coming out in about a year and a half from now.
Yep.
So I just think you're just going to look more towards the draft. Draft pieces are always controllable. You get them cheap. And until, they play their 4 or 5 year rookie contract, that's what these guys are going to do. Masai kept saying flexibility. He said it about 20 times during his press conference, which I know from people who've worked in these industries, that means we're saving money. We're going to get cheap. That's when people say flexibility. It's a nice word for being cheap. And that's fine. They're rebuilding. They tore the Band-Aid completely off of this team. They didn't really start from scratch because you had Scottie and you got RJ and Quickly. Those are your building blocks. Build from there. build around them. What do they need around them? They need size. They need some guys who can defend, and maybe another vet, like you said. Maybe that veteran's in the free agent market, in the free agent market, that it's not going to be a starting point guard, but you need a Dennis Schroeder, but not Dennis Schroeder. How does that sound? How does that sound?
I think we all know what that means.
Okay, yeah. For the record, I didn't mind his play this year. I actually was probably one of the few like, oh, Dennis is actually a pretty good backup point guard. But when they traded him for nothing, I'm like, well, this is pointless. Why would you give him up? You're not going to get anything for him.
Point guard was pointless.
That in Toronto, we're not LA, we're not Miami, we're not the Knicks. We are a big market, sure, but we outside the U.S. It's not the easiest thing just to try to convince guys to come here.
Yeah, it's interesting because we are the fourth largest metropolis out in North America, and but we are outside of the NBA door. Like, we're looking in because due to the border, right? And especially considering an international country. But thank you, Coach. You just mentioned building blocks. So you can ask your significant other, Lego. So there we go. We're going to head out of here, guys. Coach, is there anything that you would like to say to the people out there before we head out of here?
Pay attention to May 12th. That's the NBA lottery. That's the next biggest date for this team moving forward. It's hard to watch these guys right now, but this is the reality of a rebuild. But look forward to May 12th and look forward to maybe Indiana losing a few games because we get their pick too. It'd be nice if that could fall into the top 15, and then we'll see what happens with our picks.
Yeah, I'm going to be bored when I go to watch the Kings game. I'm just going to watch Sabonis tonight. That's it.
Hey, he's good, man. He's good.
Right, that's it. But so thank you very much. All the way from the East Coast, the coach, Tim Roache. You guys know me, King Hussein, to the point. You know how I get down. Thank you guys for all of your support. We very much appreciate it. We hope we helped you guys out. And you know what? To help you guys out, forget about the season right now, okay? Be like the players on the court. Just expect development. Just expect to see the future. Like, try to take some seeds so we can see that plant grow, okay? That's all I'm saying to you guys out there. I don't want to see you guys hating and slandering, right? Don't worry, okay? It will happen. Just not today, not tomorrow, not this season, not next season. But there will be something for you guys to be excited about. And as long as there is something there, we will be here covering it, trying to help you guys out. And thank you guys once again. On behalf of myself and the coach, Arturas, my man out there in Lithuania making this magic happen. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and